Hey everyone. I decided to do more of a commentary vlog today, or kind of a ramble video, just to kind of ask a question to the community. I know I don't have a lot of subscribers right now, but out of the ones I do have, I'd really like to hear your opinion on this. And if this is your first time joining me, then welcome. I'm sure a lot of you in the wargaming community are familiar with Terrainaholic. He actually posted a video, I believe it was a little bit later on last night, just a quick video talking about what kind of terrain you would like to see on your table. And a lot of people commented down below saying different things along the lines of, they like to see a lot more terrain. Like if they're more of a skirmish gamer, they like to see dense terrain. If they're, more of a massive war game player, they like to see less terrain. And one of the questions I posted on there, just to kind of see what everybody thought, and I figured I'd also make a video about it as well, is what do you look for when you're looking at doing more of a tournament terrain, or what do you expect when you have tournament terrain? And I've got a couple of guidelines that I usually stick by, and I'll list them off, but I just wanted to see what everybody else thought, and if they had any comments or anything to add to it, or any opinions. For me, tournament terrain, first and foremost, has to be clear and concise. For example, if you're making hills, as much as I do like to see more realistic hills on a board, with gradual incline and whatnot, for a lot of games, I think it makes it a lot more simple in a tournament if, for example, you see like the, if you're looking at the 1 inch thick pink foam, and it's, 1 inch for this level, another inch for the next level, another inch for the, next level, and so on. And yeah, that could kind of look like steps and look a little unrealistic on a board, but for determining, what height the terrain is and whether or not a person can actually be seen behind it, sometimes it makes things a little bit easier that way. Another thing that I mean by clear and concise is, I'm not saying that you can't add detail to tournament terrain. As a matter of fact, if you can make it clear and concise as to what exactly it is and give it a lot of detail, that's just a massive bonus. I guess what I mean by that is, by clear and concise, make it look good, make it look however you want to make it look, but just make sure that people can't really pull any shenanigans. And I guess what I mean by that, and I'll bring up a good point. When I was living down in Florida, I used to compete in a couple of 40K tournaments down there. And on one of the boards, my buddy Johnny was playing, and he was moving his sisters in behind a wall. And he had all the sisters behind the wall. There was nothing that had like a clear line of sight to the figures. And the wall itself, whoever modeled them, modeled like bricks missing from the wall, or like gunshots missing from the wall. Well, the IG player he was facing brought more of an infantry horde with him. And basically, rules as written says that, yes, he would get a cover save, but if anybody can see the models, technically they can shoot at him. So what ended up happening is he ended up getting a cover save, but he had somewhere around the lines of like 50 guardsmen and a couple of vehicles that at this point I don't honestly remember, shooting at his unit of sisters through a hole that was essentially the size, if you were to scale it up, the size of your fist, which I thought was a little crazy. But, rules as written, his opponent had a laser pointer, pointed it through to show that, yes, he could shoot him, so they had to let it go. So, to me, if you're wanting something to be obscuring to where somebody's behind it, just using that as the example, you want it to be clear enough where if there's something that's supposed to be obscuring when somebody's behind it that they shouldn't be seen, then make sure that when you model it that nothing can be seen through it. Add your gunshot holes, add your bullet holes, whatever the case may be, but just, darken them in or make it to where you can't see through it. That's just kind of one of the guidelines. I think the other thing that a lot of people look for too is more of a mirrored board. And what I mean by that is that if you were to split the board down the middle, in whatever fashion that may be, that there's the same kind of terrain on each side of the board. Me, aesthetically, I don't like that. I prefer to have a board that looks a little bit more exciting. Actually, one of my friends, Brian, put it perfectly that, if you're going out to fight a battle, you're not going to take the time to show up first, meet with them, and like have a nice handshake, and then agree to move around, the earth and buildings or whatever the case may be in order to make sure that each person has equal ground. However, for a tournament, I understand you want to have, equal settings. You want to make sure everyone's on a level playing field, so I kind of understand that. And I know the other thing that some people look for is to make sure that there's a standardized size to terrain. I guess what I mean by that is, if they're going to have forest templates, that the forest templates are all the same size. Whatever size the terrain might be for the board, it all falls within like a certain size category, so there's nothing on one board that's too crazy or, too minimal compared to other ones. One thing I found that kind of helps fix that problem, as my cat is tearing apart my office, is I kind of have terrain fall within a size category, small, medium, and large. I guess the best way to show you is I got a couple pieces here. A small terrain piece for me kind of falls, if you guys can see that, within like a 4-inch by 6-inch range. So if it's a small forest template, it would fall within this, somewhere in between. Obviously, I don't expect you to have square forest templates. A medium would be a 6x8 piece. And, again, same thing, buildings, forest, hills. And large would be an 8x10. So as you kind of look at them, you can get pretty large at the 8x10, but it's not going too crazy. And that's kind of how I've always kind of made my terrain fair, if you want to look at it that way. But I would like to hear what you have for suggestions on what you think makes for good tournament terrain. I mean, going back upon what I said, I think it needs to be clear and concise. I think that there should be some mirror to the board, and what I mean by that is that if you're dealing with like obscuring terrain, a low-rise wall that acts as blocking terrain, and a hill, that each side for each player should have that. Oh, hi, how you doing? And, past that, just make sure that your terrain is going to act exactly as you say. And have a standard size to it as well. Again, I would like to hear what you guys think. I'd prefer, let's get some constructive criticism. I'd rather not have people like flaming everybody on comments or whatever the case may be and saying that they're blatantly wrong. This is more of an opinion piece. But yeah, shoot me some comments. I'd like to hear what you all have to say. All right, talk to you later.